Hi guys, welcome back to Family Flyouts. This is another video about the safety training Daddy does.
Today, Imogen is sitting in the front to learn about what would happen if the engine conked out.
And I got to fly us back to Biggin Hill.
Also, stay tuned until the end where we tell you how you can win Imogen's headset.
We hope you enjoy the video.
Clear front.
Hi guys, welcome back to Family Flyouts.
Annoyingly, we've got GoPro problems with this video, so there's no sound again, but it was a great video, so we'll do a voice over it and see how we got on with that, shall we?
Yeah, it was really fun sitting in the front as well.
Yeah, it's the first time in a few years, I think, that you were in the front.
I think the last time must have been when we were flying down to Lyd.
That's right, yeah. In fact, that was one of my favourite videos where you and Thomas both had a go at flying because we went to Lyd and back.
I enjoy flying. Obviously, I'm not in complete control, but it's nice, using the controls to turn the plane or just put it down or up. Obviously not massively, but
It's good feeling like you're in control, isn't it?
yeah.
So these couple of videos were to answer questions that you and Thomas both had about what would happen if something went wrong with the plane. So what was your question?
My question was, what happens if the engine cuts out? So how far can we glide, and how do we choose a suitable field to land in or anything like that?
Cool. Well, it's obviously very serious if the engine does cut out, but it doesn't mean the plane's just going to fall out of the sky. Our plane can glide from about 3,000 feet. Our plane should be able to glide for about 5 miles. We practice, we call these PFLs, practice false landings, and we practice them quite regularly when we're with an instructor. We pull the power back so the engine goes to idle, and then go through all the checks and set up to land in the field.
Is it hard to keep an eye on the field? Because obviously there's lots of them when we're flying.
Well, normally when we're flying anyway, I've always got an eye out, looking in front of us for suitable fields should the worst happen. So, and you know, in most of the places we fly over England, there's lots and lots of fields.
Yeah. England's a very green country from above. Is it scary?
No, not at all. You don't lose your stomach. It's a bit disconcerting when the noise of the engine goes down, but we put the plane in descent at similar speed to a normal landing. The one thing is we do have to do things pretty quickly, obviously, because we haven't got the power to level off or to take us back up.
How long should it roughly take to fly about 5 miles? Like, if the engine did conk out, how long do you think it would take for us to land safely?
It'll probably take us 2 minutes, maybe. I think if the engine had properly failed and the propeller was stationary, then it would all happen quicker. But I think the way we do it, it'll take maybe 2 minutes.
Okay, so it's like not as fast as it would be, but still showing you how fast you need to be when you're doing these practices.
Yes. It's not as urgent as if the engine had fully stopped. So we have still got a little bit of power because we have the engine at idle. But it's as good a practice as we'd want to make.
Yeah. So what do you have to do first?
Well, whenever we fly, whenever something goes wrong, we have the saying that we have to aviate, then navigate, then communicate.
What does that mean?
Well, first of all, we aviate, so we fly the plane. We get it into the right glide speed and figure out what's gone wrong. Then we navigate, so we have to try and find a suitable place to land. And then we communicate. Once we've tried everything we can to restart, we make a mayday call, or in this case, make a pretend mayday call.
Is it often quite obvious what's gone wrong? Obviously, you plan all these things, so you know that it's going to happen. But would it be quite obvious to spot what they've gone wrong? Or?
I guess the things you could fix were if you'd run out of fuel on one tank. Perhaps perhaps you hadn't changed the tanks at the right time, and one tank was empty. Or you run out of fuel completely, which obviously you wouldn't be able to fix. Another thing which can happen is you could get carb ice, and the carburetor can freeze. So we regularly check, you probably see me, I pull back on the carb heat,
Yeah.
and that puts some hot air through the carburetor to stop it freezing. So that would be something we test first as a matter of course to see if there's carb ice that we can thaw out. If there was something catastrophic with the engine, you know, if a piston had blown through the side of the engine or something like that, then there would be no way you could restart.
So we'd quite easily know what had gone wrong just by hearing it, or
Well,
because you can obviously hear when the engine cocks out because it goes silent.
yeah, I mean, there's, as I say, there's some checks you can make with the fuel and the carburettor. If it's none of those, then there's not much else to check. You've got to resign yourself to the fact you're going to land in the field.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are. We're just about to start the practice. So what you'll see on the screen, you'll see we pull back the power. The propeller and the engine are still spinning, but it obviously goes a lot quieter. The first thing that happens is I hear my instructor in my head shouting, "Speed!" So I pull back on the nose until we're at 73 knots. And then that's the best glide speed for the plane.
How do you manage to keep it at 73 knots? How come it doesn't just move around?
Well, once we pull the nose up to slow down, and then we let the nose drop again to maintain the 73 knots, you'll see me on the trim wheel getting the plane perfectly trimmed to that speed. And that's one thing I can sort of forget about a bit. Then I can concentrate on the next things we need to do.
And also, if there was a lot of turbulence in the air, would we feel it more than we would normally because there's no engine? Or does that not make a difference?
No, I don't think we'd feel it anymore. I think when you're descending, you tend to feel a little less turbulence than when you're flying straight and level anyway, maybe.
Okay.
But no, there'll be no difference in turbulence whether the engine was on or off, I don't think.
Okay.
So the next thing you might see me doing is the checks that I mentioned. So we're checking that the fuel, we're on the right tank, checking the fuel pump's on, checking the ignition is still on, checking the carb ice, and after all that we're going to make the mayday. So we'll do a pretend mayday, tell them where we are, what we think's happened, how many people are on the plane, and tell them we're going to attempt a forced landing.
Why do they need to know how many people are in the plane? Is that just for them to call emergency services, or?
Well, yeah, it's for the emergency services, but you know, if I told them it was just three of us, and they found me and Thomas and Mummy around the plane or hanging from trees, but didn't bother looking for you, you'd be a bit upset, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So having spotted a nice place to land nice and early, it's important to keep an eye on it. We've made a nice circuit around it, and you can see we're nicely set up now. Final approach. So we'll follow this down. We can go as low as 500 feet, which we're not going to do. We'll go down to about 700 feet before we put the power back on and go back up. But I think you can see from this that we've made a nice approach. It wasn't as, we didn't fall out of the sky as much as you might have feared before we did this.
Kind of pictured almost the engine conking out and the plane just tipping forwards. I don't know, my brain just automatically assumed that the engine also holds the plane kind of upwards. I just felt like the nose would just tip forwards and then we'd go out of control and topple out the sky.
Okay, well, hopefully this has put your mind at rest a bit. As I say, we're on a nice, stable final approach. This one's worked out very nicely. We get down to 700 feet, throttle up, and head for home.
Obviously, in a real situation, it'd be a lot different because it would be quite stressful. Well, not quite, it'd be very stressful. But it was kind of oddly serene, just with no engine as we were just kind of gliding down. It was, yes, a bit of engine, but it was very quiet. It was a lot quieter than it normally is. There was no one really talking on the radio either, so it was just kind of like we were gliding down. It was just very peaceful. Yeah,
well, hopefully some of that was from me having practiced it and remaining calm with you, because obviously the more you practice these things, the more they become, as I said, muscle memory. The less stressful the situation needs to be. The more stressed you are, the higher the chance of something going wrong.
Yeah. So
by having the practice, it means that we can do it calmly. Now, I think you're right. I think if this was a real life situation, it would be highly stressful for all of us. But at least having done the practice, you know what it's roughly going to look like, and what to expect.
Yeah.
And obviously, if we were landing in the field for real, we'd as we got down to about the height that we pulled up from, we'd open the canopy. We'd make sure we were braced up, make sure if you had any jumpers or cushions or something you had in front of your face so that we didn't bang our heads on anything. So there is a little bit more that we would do, but you're right. The trick is to stay as calm as possible.
Yeah, and also, especially because you'd probably be quite stressed trying to land the plane just for our safety and things, so just to kind of be aware of what you're doing, it's quite helpful to know that, or roughly know what the steps you're going through, so that I'm not worrying and asking you, oh, what you're doing when you're already extremely stressed and trying just to land the plane.
I think that's right. I think this video and the other video I did with the stalls and the steep turns, if there happened to be an emergency situation, the last thing I really need is for you to be for you to be panicking and screaming questions at me.
Yeah.
At least you know what things are like to feel like and what to expect, so that you can take it in a little bit better if it happened for real.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at how far we glided?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a lot quicker. I thought we'd lose altitude a lot faster than we did. And I don't know, you've always said in 5 miles, like, it would be quite far to be able to glide, and that we can glide very far. Especially like when we're flying over the channel and stuff, you've told us about how even if we stop mid-air we can still glide the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's why we fly so high across the channel normally.
That's why I never really fit the proportion that it is.
Really
It seemed a lot
happen.
smaller. Yeah. Do you want to know what my favourite bit about this flight was?
What was that?
It was when I got to fly home. I really want to learn to fly because I'm not too far off the age you have to be. Because I think it's really cool just being able to, whenever the plane's free, to be able to go up and fly.
Yeah, 14, not far away.
Yeah.
Problem is, without being able to drive, I'd have to drive you to the airport so you could fly your friend somewhere. You did really well. You were nice and gentle on the controls. I guess the big difference between now and when you did it a few years ago is you can see over the dashboard, so
Yeah.
you can see where you're going, not just having to look out the sides to make sure the wings are straight.
Also, when I did last time, you were just kind of telling me, okay, now you turn this direction, you still had like your hands on the controls and everything, and you were almost kind of nudging me forwards a little bit, whereas this time I was doing it like pretty much by myself. I was looking out the windows to see if the wings were level, and I was very scared though, because I thought you were going to make me land. As we were heading towards the airport, I could see it, and I was aiming for like the right area to go, and I was just holding the controls, and my hands were starting to get a bit clammy because I thought you were going to make me like put us into a circuit or something.
I don't think I'm that brave, especially not with Mummy in the back.
No.
But no, you did really well. You flew us back from sort of the middle of Kent all the way back over Seven Oaks towards Biggin Hill.
It was really smooth weather as well. There was like no turbulence at all.
No, it's a lovely time of night. It was dusk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that time of the evening, often the air's so still, and the radio often seems to be a bit quieter, especially on a Sunday.
It was. There was pretty much no one else talking. Only as we got close to Bigham, people were saying like going into circuit and stuff.
Yeah.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down. Jumping from cliffs so high, trusting our wings to fly. Sometimes we're crashing down, but we get up and start from the ground. And I really wanna know if I will ever down. I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind. I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down.
Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and make sure you stay tuned for the details for Thomas's headset giveaway. Bye! It was a really good landing as well.
Well, my landing.
Yeah, my landing probably wouldn't have been perfect. Yours was though.
It was the best landing we've done for a while. That's why it deserved a high five at the end, I think.
Yeah, it felt really smooth. It just felt like we kind of just rolled down. Like, it didn't feel like we kind of, like, it didn't feel like there was a break between us flying and landing. It felt like all one smooth movement.
I think they call it a greaser.
Yeah.
Greased it onto the runway.
It was really fun though.
Cool.
Enjoyed it.
Good.
Like in our last video, rather than put our old headsets on eBay or something like that, what we thought is that it would be nice to give them away to someone who would like them.
So this time we are giving away my headset, which suits kids from about 3 to 10. All you have to do is watch the video in the link below and tell us in the comments the answer to this question.
What was written on the sign that we crashed into at Newquay Airport?
Don't forget to leave your Instagram name or Twitter handle so we can get in touch with you if you win. We will choose the winner randomly on Saturday the 27th of November 2021 so we can get the prize to you before Christmas.
Thanks for watching.
Good luck and see you soon.